Hello. Welcome back to Life After Plus One. I'm Leanne, your podcast host and your single parent mentor and coach. And hello and welcome to anyone that's new that's jumped on board and's just discovered the Life After Plus One podcast. This is your place where I will cover anything that's related to single parenting. Now, obviously, I can only get through so much because I'm doing one episode a week. In each episode, I will nut out a different topic that you would experience or go through as a single parent. And on that note, in saying that, I should say, I'm actually doing a podcast episode where I'm dedicating it to you guys. I am doing a question and answer podcast episode, and I'm super pumped for this. So what it is you guys are going to ask me your questions. This is just not random questions I've just pulled out of a hat. These are questions that you want answered, things that are keeping you awake at night. Now, I'm just doing one question per person, so I shouldn't say questions. So if you have a question that you want to hear answered on the podcast, then send it through. You can email me. My details for that is in my show notes, or jump onto either of my social media pages, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. I'm out there. Jump onto any of my social media pages. Again, those details are in the show notes if you don't follow me. And then send me a DM with your question. You can be completely anonymous, or you can put your name and your location if you like. And I will do a whole episode based on answering your questions. Isn't that exciting? I think it is. And I think it's a great way to kind of hear where other people are at as well. And it's, because it could be questions that you're like, oh, I didn't even think about that, but that so relates to what I'm going through. And it's like a little support group, but in the form of a podcast episode. If you're keen to be on board the first ever Life After Plus One Q&A podcast episode, then send through your questions and to any of my social media pages or to my email or through my website even, and just let me know it's for the Q&A podcast. Shoot through your question and I will keep that for the episode. And remember, there is no question too big or too small or too crazy or that might sound ridiculous. Ask away. And you know what? I'm really excited to do this. So I hope you guys are too. And hopefully you're listening in real time and you haven't missed the cutoff for it. But if you are listening as this goes to air, then get on board and send through your questions. Let's get those questions coming in. And I'm going to aim to answer as many as I can on the podcast episode. And now let's talk about today's episode, which is love bombing. And it's such a common thing. It happens a lot. And the reason why I wanted to touch on this, well, not really touch it. I'm not touching it. I'm going deep into it today. And it's because it happens when you're in a relationship with your partner, your husband, your wife, your long-term partner. Maybe it's happened then. Or it's also quite common when you've broken up from your marriage or your de facto relationship and you're hurt, you're sad, you're lonely, you're looking for some attention, and all of a sudden, boom, it all comes at once and you're like, this is it, this is the one. And then you get sucked in because you're just needing that love and attention and this person's giving it to you, but it's not the right love and attention. Well, I've pretty much summed up the episode in the intro, but go grab your coffee, go grab your wine, go grab whatever it is, and let's jump into today's episode and talk love bombing. Welcome to the Life After Plus One podcast, where we turn life's lemons into delightful lemonade. Get ready for inspiring stories, uplifting conversations, and all the tips and tricks to rock your single parent journey with style. I'm your host, Leanne, and it's time to embrace the adventure of Life After Plus One. So let's dive in. Now, as I was saying in the intro, it is a easy trap to fall into when you're still getting over your breakup from your marriage or from your de facto relationship, your relationship with the other parent, any relationship really. When you're still going through your breakup, you're still hurt, you're still upset, you've got all these emotions going on. It is easy to fall into that trap. And especially when you've been in a marriage, like maybe you've been in a 20, 30 year marriage or however long it's been, and there was zero emotion. You didn't get that love. You didn't get any affection. There was no intimacy. And then all of a sudden you're out in this big wide world and you've got this person showing you that they're like the best thing since sliced bread. And it's not just people that have been in loveless marriages that fall into that trap. You've got ones that have just come out of a relationship and maybe your breakup is very, very toxic. You're just fighting with your ex. It's just non-stop drama. And I hope it's not, because if it is, let's have a chat. But if that is where you're at, it is easy to fall into that little trap of love bombing because someone's giving you some attention. And here on one side, you've got your ex where it's just constant fighting, name calling, whatever else, doing what they can to make your life difficult. And then you've got this other person over here telling you how amazing you are, making all these wonderful plans for the future. You're like, wow, this is what I've been missing out on. And all of a sudden, you're drawn into this whole new relationship and you're just like, look how easy it is. But is it that easy? And that's the thing with love bombing. They do make it sound so easy. They make it sound like, wow, this is a fairy tale. I can't believe this is happening. But the thing is, when you've just gone to a breakup, when you're heartbroken, when you're just really craving that love and attention, it is very easy to miss those signs. And it doesn't make you a bad person, doesn't mean anything negative about you. It just means you're sad, you're feeling a bit lost and alone. Someone gave you attention. You thought, great, this is it. It's not a negative sign on you or negative reflection on you. They're good at their job. They're good at what they're doing. And quite often when people are love bombing, they do prey on the weak. And it's a very sad thing to do, but they tend to go for people that they know that they can kind of reel in. And it sounds a bit sick in a way when you word it like that, but that tends to be what happens. They know how to get what they want. And when you're feeling a lot more insecure in yourself and you might be lacking a little bit of confidence from the breakup, you're thinking, oh, I'm not good enough. No one's going to want me. Oh, I've just been rejected, or I'm just being replaced because my ex has got a new partner. Then all of a sudden this happens. But the thing is, when you're being love bombing, they know that. They know how to feed off that. And they know that you're wanting that attention. And in the moment, it feels good, doesn't it? It feels really good. You're getting attention. You're like, wow, what is happening? This is so nice. And that's why it's so easy to miss those signs, because it does feel good in the moment. It does feel nice. You're getting the attention. You're getting acknowledged. You're getting seen. You're getting what you're wanting. But is it genuine? Is it with a motive? Is there something more behind it? Is it all of a sudden going to flip the script and turn into something completely different? Because when it's love bombing, it will. That's what happens. So how do you know when you are being love bombed? The most common thing is it's very over the top. And some people like that over the top thing. They're like, oh, wow, I've never had this. Keep it coming. I want more of this. And when I say over the top, it's things like it could be buying gifts. And again, who doesn't like gifts? Keep bringing the gifts. Love it. Keep it going. It could be over the top compliments. Now, again, who doesn't like compliments? Who doesn't like it when people say nice things about you? Talking about commitment really soon. Using the L word. Love. Saying they love you, talking about marriage, talking about moving in together, talking about certain things that you're like planning a future when you may have only just met. So they're pushing for a really fast commitment. They want to get you. They want to make sure that you're locked in, so to speak. Another one is that constant communication. They want constant updates. And it might just be that constant love bombing message telling you how amazing you are, telling you that they love you, telling you how great you are, or just constantly checking in, constantly seeing what you're doing. It's one thing to send a good morning message or a hope you had a great day or anything, just a nice message like that. But when it's that constant excessive message, that's a sign of love bombing. Another thing they do that can really suck you in is they just make you believe that you're the only person that gets them. You're a special kind of person that they've never met anyone like you. And they make you believe that you're the one. But then on the flip side of all this, you can get the negative traits that come along with that. The ones I just said are like, they're the ones that people love. Like, wow, this is really great. And that's what gets you sucked in. That's what makes you think this is the one. But then there's the other side of it where they make you feel guilty if you don't respond to them quick enough, or if you don't get back to their messages, or if you don't call them back, or if you want to catch up with your friends and you haven't prioritized them. They'll make you feel guilty for having a life without them. They will make you feel guilty for having boundaries. If something happens that you don't like and you mention it, like for example, why are you getting angry? Why are you doing that for? Why are you doing this for? Why do you think that for? But having boundaries is something healthy to do in relationships. You need to have boundaries. But when it's not a healthy relationship, those boundaries will not be respected. So what do you do in these situations? And how do you know that it's not someone that's being nice? Or if it's someone that is love bombing you, that's going to turn into something else. Because that's the thing, that when you are being love bombed, it is a way to get you in. It is a way to get you in their control, so to speak. And once you're in that relationship and you're in that fully committed relationship with them, which probably won't be a very long time, it happens very quickly, then you'll start to see a very different side of them. And that's when it's hard to get out. And that's when it's so easy to get caught up in that spiral of making excuses for them. Oh no, it's not that bad because they buy me flowers. It's not that bad because they tell me how great I am. It's not that bad because they do this for me. But it is that bad, but you're using that as an excuse to cover up the bad stuff. And that's what happens. That's how it all spirals and gets out of control, because you can easily overlook all the bad stuff because it's this small amount of good stuff that's happening that makes you forget everything else. So when you're caught up in this and you're starting to think to yourself, this is nice, but there's something not right here. And now I always say, trust your gut. Trust your gut. When you get that vibe that something's not right, I'll tell you now, there's usually something not right about it. And when you're in this situation and you're feeling like this, take a step back. Take a step back. And this is the thing, when you're in a situation with someone that is love bombing you, they won't let you take a step back. They won't like that. They will start questioning that because they want that attention. They want you in there with them. They want you under their control. So when you say or try and take a little step back from the relationship to kind of really gather your thoughts and process everything, and you're wanting to move away or just take some time for yourself to really understand what's going on, they won't like it. So that right there is a sign that you've been love bombed, because a healthy relationship will be respectful of that. If you're with someone and you can effectively communicate how you're feeling and where you're at, and you can say to them, I just need a day or two, I just need a little bit of a break just to clear my head, they will be respectful of that. Yeah, sure, no worries. Take as much time as you need. I'm here. Whenever you need a chat, just give me a call. But if it's a toxic relationship, if it's someone that's been love bombing you, they will not like that. And that's a sign it's not a healthy relationship, because unhealthy relationships don't respect your boundaries. They don't respect you wanting to do something different to what they're doing. So when you try to communicate your feelings to someone and they don't like it, they shut you down, they try to argue with you, they try to make you feel guilty for your choices, don't sit there and start making excuses for them. And it's very easy to do for people to feel like they need to defend someone else, but this person is not defending you. You know, it is nice to get that love. It is nice to get the attention. It's nice to get some gifts. But you cannot base a healthy relationship just on that. You're not going to have longevity in a relationship if it's just on a few words that have little meaning and some gifts here and there. That is not going to sustain a long, healthy relationship. If someone makes a comment to you, for example, they're wanting to move in, and you know for certain you're not ready. You've just come out of a marriage or your relationship, you've just been living with someone for years, you're not ready to move straight back in with another person, but they make you feel guilty for not wanting to. And you just think, oh, I guess that's what I should do then. And you get sucked into what they want to do. Now, I can't emphasize this enough. When you're in a relationship with someone and you're feeling uncomfortable, then there's a red flag there, probably even multiple. Because you shouldn't be feeling uncomfortable with your partner. You shouldn't be feeling like you cannot speak up and communicate about things that you disagree with or that you don't like. Because that is just going to result in you constantly walking on eggshells. And that is not a relationship anyone wants to be in. And I can guarantee you now, it's not a relationship that will last very long. because you will end up getting to a point where you'll probably explode thinking, I can't do this anymore. But the thing is, it is very easy, I should say. I was going to say common, but it is very easy to fall into that trap of being swept off your feet and caught into this little whirlwind of theirs, especially when you've been in such a long-term relationship. You just think to yourself, well, maybe this is what it's like. They were beautiful. They were really nice to me at the start. Things have changed, but I've seen a nice side of them, so it must be okay. And quite often, a lot of people don't have much else to compare it to. If you've just been in that one long-term relationship your whole life, or maybe two, you don't really have anything else to compare it to. So you just think to yourself, maybe this is it. Maybe this is what relationships are meant to be like. Or maybe I'm being too fussy. And then you start questioning yourself. You start questioning your choices, going, why am I being hard work? Because they probably also put this in your head. They probably start questioning you. Why are you being hard work? Why are you asking all these questions? Why are you complaining for? Why are you doing this? When you're just speaking up, you're just speaking your mind. But they make you feel guilty for that. It is a horrible trap. And the sad thing is, you've got caught up in this false sense of security from them, thinking this is it, this is the one. And then you end up being so emotionally dependent on this person. You get so caught up in them that you feel trapped in their world. And then you're left constantly second guessing yourself. You're left constantly doubting all your decisions because they know how to twist it back onto you. It is again that vicious cycle. That's a horrible, horrible whirlwind to get caught up in, just constantly left doubting yourself. And that's why when a lot of people leave toxic relationships, their confidence and their self-worth has just gone to the shit because they've been in this relationship where they've just sucked it out of them. They've sucked every ounce of confidence that they've had in them and they've just sucked it out, chewed it up and spat it back out again. Because everything they do, they make you question. They might be seeing someone, you might be having concerns of that, and then you might bring it up and then they'll put it back onto you. They'll make you think that you're the one cheating. It's just things like this that are just so out of this world, but they just put it back onto you like you're doing something wrong. It is emotional manipulation at its finest, and it's a horrible trap to get caught up into. And this all starts off with the love bombing process. So if you can spot all this love bombing at the start and you're comfortable to be able to put your foot down and say, no, this isn't right. And you're comfortable enough and you're trusting enough in yourself to trust your decisions and to trust your boundaries and your gut instincts to put your foot down and say, no, this is not right. You cannot be telling me you love me on date 2. Because these things happen. I can tell you, I had a toothbrush bought for me on date 2. Back then I thought, this is weird, but it's kind of nice, but it's really, really weird. But they know how to do that. They know how to get you sucked in where they kind of want you and they kind of make you feel like you need them. And then when you pull back, you get it blamed. You get it all put onto you. It's all your fault. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? And then you think, oh, it is my fault. They're not doing anything wrong. It must just be all me. So I've kind of gone really more into what happens after the love bombing process as well. But it is something that you really need to recognize. And it is easy to kind of overlook it when your self-worth and your confidence is low, because you fall into it and you think, this is as good as it gets. Or there's no one else out there for me, or I don't deserve anyone better, or there's no one's going to want me with kids and what I've been through, and they're accepting me. They've shown me how much they love me, so I must shut up and accept it. And then you get caught up in that process of making excuses for them. Here's a little news flash for you. Life isn't about just making other people happy. Yes, it's nice to do that. It is nice to make other people happy. It is nice to do right by other people. And yes, we should always do right by others. But you also need to look after you, because if you don't do that, who is going to? You can't just live your life by doing something to make other people happy when you're not happy in the process. And that comes down to that whole people-pleasing concept. I got to do this because otherwise they'll get upset. But what about you? What about what you're doing to yourself in the process? What about the fact that you're letting yourself down in the process? And that all comes down to lacking that confidence in yourself, lacking that trust in yourself. So to know the difference between a healthy relationship and someone that's love bombing you is they are respectful of you and your decisions and where you're at in life. If someone responds to what you say by making you feel guilty, if someone responds to something you say by questioning you and belittling you or making you question yourself, then that's quite toxic. That is not a healthy relationship. A healthy relationship doesn't leave you walking on eggshells. A healthy relationship doesn't leave you questioning yourself. A healthy relationship doesn't blame everything on you. That is how you know the difference. So if you're back into the dating world as a single parent and you're feeling like someone's giving you over the top attention and you're just like, well, this is great. I'm going to keep taking it. I'm going to take everything they give me. Just take a step back and really reflect, because yes, it is nice. But you don't want to get caught up in that cycle where you're just going to end up getting heartbroken again. And you don't want to just sit there and just think, this is as good as it gets. I don't deserve any better. Nobody's going to want me. Because when you're in that headspace, when you're feeling like this, you need to step back from the dating world. I'm sorry to say. I get so many comments thrown at me quite often when people jump back into a relationship, or not back in, would jump into a relationship, I should say, after their long-term relationship or after their marriage. And they're like, oh, I was fine. I emotionally clocked off years before it ended. It's like, yeah, maybe you did, but there's still a whole lot of other stuff that comes with it. There's still more. It's not just you're broken up and that's it. There's a whole lot more that comes with that. And I saw, there was an incident recently where someone, and this was a social media incident. I love seeing some comments on social media, some of the things that people say. But anyway, I saw someone say that she's been broken up for a year, or actually maybe it was even less. She started dating this guy. They've been dating for a while. Now all of a sudden her husband's wanting to take her back, and she doesn't know what to do. My first thought was, well, that was a bit of a tongue twister. My first thought was, what the hell are you doing dating? You are dragging this guy through your emotional baggage. And it's not fair on other people. And people just think, yeah, I'm ready. Maybe you are, but you don't realize the impact that you're having on this other person that you're dating when you all of a sudden turn around thinking, I might go back to my ex. You've just dragged this innocent person through your world, and for no reason, because you're not emotionally ready. You're still confused. You're still half in, half out. You're not sure what you want. And this person's like, well, I like this person. And it's not fair on other people to drag them through that. Now, I went off on a bit of a tangent there, but my point was, when you're not in the right emotional headspace to date, it really impacts your whole dating experience. And people don't realize that. They just think, yeah, I'm ready. But next minute, you're falling into the trap of being love bombed. Next minute, your ex is asking you back and you think, maybe I should just go back to my ex, but you've got this other partner here. It's not just a matter of just saying, yep, I'm ready. Because there's a whole lot more to it than that. Saying you're ready doesn't mean you're ready. You haven't dealt with anything. You haven't done anything to be ready. Same when people say, I emotionally clocked off before we even split up. Well, maybe you did, but there's still going to be hurt there. There's still going to be a resentment there because you emotionally clocked off because you felt like you clearly weren't getting what you needed in that relationship or in that marriage. So you just emotionally clocked off. But you're going to have anger, you're going to have hurt, you're going to have resentment there because you weren't getting what you needed. So you're still going to go through those breakup emotions, even if you're going to admit it or not. Even if you were emotionally clocked off, there's still underlying issues there that have impacted your decision and impacted where you're at now. And just saying, I'm ready, doesn't deal with anything. And again, even though I've gone off on a little bit of a tangent, this is why it can be very easy to fall into the trap of being love bombed. And it's not just single parents. So don't get me wrong there. It is not just single parents that get caught up in this. It's anyone. Anyone can get caught up in the world of love bombing. But when your confidence is at a low, when your self-worth is at a low, when you've just come out of a relationship where you haven't been getting attention, where you haven't been shown any love, where they haven't been listening to you and really showing interest in your world, and all of a sudden you've got this person giving you everything full on in one go, you're just like sucked in. You are in hook, line, and sinker. And once you're in that, it is very hard to get out. The sad thing about it is, If your self-worth and your confidence was at a low when you went into this, it's going to be even lower again when you come out of it, because they know how to suck it out of you. They know how to make you question yourself. They know how to make you doubt yourself and think that everything is all your fault. So to avoid going down the path of being love bombed, some of the things I can suggest is take it slow. And I emphasize this all the time. Take it slow. There is no time frame. There is no expiry date on dating as a single parent. There's no cutoff date. It's like, sorry, you've missed the date. You're out. There's no more dating for you. No, take it slow. And people just think because I'm older, because I have kids, I've got to rush the process because I'm older. No, that's more of a reason why you should take it slow, because you've got more you need to protect. You've got your kids, you've got yourself. You don't want to go down that path of being heartbroken again. And when you rush things, that's usually how it happens. Take it slow. And I don't mean I'm not being ridiculous like over years. Slow is like at a pace that you're comfortable with. There's no time frame for slow. It's whatever you're comfortable with. That's what I mean by slow. And if it's going at a pace that is too fast, then you start to feel uncomfortable. Things are happening. You can tell, whoa, hold up here. I'm not ready for this. Back it up. Slow it down. Say that. And if you don't like their response to that, then that's a big red flag. They're waving it big and loud in front of your face. Don't ignore that. If you tell them you want to take a step back and they're not respectful of that, that's another big red flag. They're waving right in your face. Another thing to really be mindful of, to tell if it's being love bombed or if it's someone that's being sincere. And that is the good old motto of actions speak louder than words. Because when you're being love bombed, they will say what they think you need to hear. And more often than not, very often, their actions don't align with that. They're just saying the right things. So if you are unsure if you're being love bombed or if this is someone that's just really over the top nice, are their actions actually aligning with what they're saying? If it's not, then they're waving that big red flag again right in front of you. Do not ignore it. And if you are unsure, use your friends. Rely on people. Someone like myself, debrief with somebody. And quite often when you're caught up in it, you're just so head over heels that you don't see anything wrong in what's happening. But when you actually sit down and talk to someone about it, they're like, whoa, this is so not right. And it's quite often not to actually verbalize it with someone and you talk to it with your friends or someone like myself, and then you actually realize, oh shit, this isn't right, is it? And it's just like when I went through my breakup with my daughter's father years ago and I started talking about that situation, and it wasn't until I got out and I started talking about it and I'm just like, holy shit. And it just felt like what I was saying was a made up fairy tale. It really did, because things that happened were just so out of this world. It just seemed so unrealistic. And I'm like, Leanne, how did you allow this to happen? And it's weird that I'm saying that because I didn't do anything. But that's the problem. I didn't do anything. The version of me now will probably be out day one. No way. I am not standing for this. But back then I was a lot more insecure. I wasn't confident in myself, and that's only come from being a single parent. And it's easy to get sucked into that when you don't have that confidence and that trust in yourself. And sadly, I didn't have that support network. It kind of slowly got cut off from me. And that's another sign. That's what happens when you get caught up into that toxic world. They delete all, they make you remove. Well, don't make you. They do it in a very discreet way where they make you feel like you have to do it, and they isolate you, and you don't have anyone to talk to. You don't have anyone to talk, to lean on. You don't have a support network. And then when you get out of it and you start talking to people and you're like, holy shit, did this actually happen? Did I actually allow this to happen? Did I put up with this? So this is why it is extremely important when you're going through a situation that doesn't feel right. Debrief with someone, have a chat to somebody, talk to somebody about it, because it's not till when you actually sit down and verbalize it and then you can actually realize, okay, this isn't right. What am I doing? So have your support network. Now, again, I'm not saying that everyone that's being overly nice is love bombing, but following those last few steps of what I just said will help you identify if they are or not by really watching their reaction when you have boundaries. Are they going to take it on board? Are they going to be respectful of that, or are they going to shut you down? Are they going to make you feel guilty? Are they going to make you feel crazy because you're doing something different to what they do? That's a sign that you're being love bombed. A healthy relationship respects your boundaries. Are their actions aligning up with their words? Love bombing, their actions don't match up with what they say. And quite often when you're love bombing, they will say all these really nice things. And when they don't follow through with it, but you said you were going to do this. And when you question it, and then they make you feel guilty. Oh, but, and then they make you feel needy because they're questioning something that they didn't do. It's mind-boggling what they can put you through. It's a real head fuck. It really is. It's like they promise you the world. They promise all these things, and this is it. They say all these really nice things. And then all of a sudden you're like, hold on, they said they were going to do this, or they said they were going to do that. And then you ask them about it, and they're like, and then they make you feel guilty for asking this. And then again, you're left doubting yourself. Okay, well, maybe I shouldn't have said anything. Maybe I should have done that. Maybe I am crazy for talking about it. It is a real head fuck. And that is not a healthy relationship. So if you are in a healthy relationship and you're not sure if you are getting love bombed or not, a healthy relationship wouldn't put you in that head fuck of a situation. And most importantly, their actions would match up with their words. And if they don't follow through with their words, then quite often they'll apologize and say, oh, sorry, I wasn't able to do that, or I can't do this, or they quite often will acknowledge that. Or even if they forget to acknowledge it, they will just say, oh shit, I slipped my mind or something. But they won't make you feel guilty for bringing it up. That's the thing there. And most importantly, a healthy relationship respects where you're at. They will be respectful of if you want to take time. They will be respectful of the fact that you've been hurt before and you need to be cautious of certain things. Where if it's toxic and it's a situation that's been love bombed, they will make you feel guilty and they will use it against you. And that's the thing. Things that have happened bad in your life, or things that negative situations or anything that's happened in your life that's been quite hurtful to you, they will find a way to use it against you. And again, leaving you question yourself. Well, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe it is me. Maybe there's something wrong with me. So really, to sum it up, there are signs there. It's just a matter of not ignoring them. It's a matter of being confident enough in yourself to recognize them. It's a matter of being confident in yourself to set those boundaries when something's happening that makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable. And quite often doesn't make you feel a little bit uncomfortable. It'll make you feel very uncomfortable. So don't feel like you need to get sucked into something because this is all that you're worth. You're not worth having a better relationship than that. No, you are worthy of having a better relationship. Don't convince yourself of otherwise. And it's sad to see people that have gone through breakups with the other parent and then they start dating again, then all this stuff happens and they're too scared to leave because they don't want to go through that again. So they keep overlooking everything. They keep ignoring everything. And then they're just gone down this rabbit hole of being stuck in this relationship that they're miserable in. This, again, is why it's so important to not fall into relationships so soon after a breakup when you're not emotionally ready for it. Now, I'm not going to say you only have bad relationship experiences when you're in a bad emotional headspace. But I will say you do get caught up in relationships when you're not in a good emotional headspace. When you are feeling better emotionally and mentally, you don't feel like, you know your value. You know you don't have to stay somewhere that's not right. You know you don't have to make excuses for somebody. You know you don't have to keep clinging to somebody. You know you don't overlook the red flags. When you're in a better headspace emotionally and mentally, you can spot all these red flags. You can spot when something's not right and you know your worth and say, no, you know what? I deserve so much better than this and I'm not going to hang around. And that is why it's so important. It's not about getting yourself in a better headspace because then you're going to automatically find the right one. But you're more inclined to find the right one when you are in a better headspace because you're not going to allow the wrong people into your world. You're not going to make excuses for the wrong people. And when you do meet them, you don't just keep clinging on to them because you think that's as good as it gets. You know, you're happy to hold off and wait until the right person comes around and not just settle because you think this is as good as it gets, because it's not. Stick to your worth, stick to your guns. And when you're not holding on to this hurt from your past relationship, or you're not seeing your ex with a new partner and you think, oh, well, I've got to do that too. They've got a partner, so I should go get one. Or when you're not just thinking, well, I'm just going to be single for the rest of my life, so I may as well just settle down with this person. That's never going to end in a healthy way. So love bombing can happen to anyone, but it's whether or not you're emotionally ready to acknowledge those signs. Are you emotionally ready to put a stop to that? Are you emotionally ready to step back from that situation when you know it's making you uncomfortable? You know it's not right. Because quite often when you're not in a good emotional headspace, you're going to keep making excuses for them. You're going to keep doubting yourself. And that's just it. When you are in a better headspace, you don't doubt yourself. You go, no, hold on. That's bullshit. I'm not standing for that. You can spot it when they're trying to manipulate you. You can spot it when they're trying to blame you and guilt you. But when you're doubting yourself all the time and they make you question yourself, you're going to believe them, not yourself. But when you are in a better headspace, you do trust and believe in yourself. And you do realize you are a priority. And that is what's important. So if you are listening and you're in one of these situations, or you're in a relationship where you feel like you might be getting love bombed, I want you to step back and really notice the signs. And I want you to step back and ask yourself, why am I doubting myself? Why am I not believing in myself? Why am I not trusting in myself? And if you are struggling to trust yourself, if you are struggling to believe in yourself, if you are struggling to find your confidence and your self-worth, it's time you get that back. Because when you have that, it is so much easier to date. Because you don't settle. You don't ignore the red flags. You don't stick around relationships for all the wrong reasons because you feel like that's as good as it gets. And you're willing to accept being single until the right person comes and not feel like you have to keep rushing it because you're on a timeline, or you feel like you have to keep rushing it because you don't want to be single. When you are feeling good about yourself, when you are more confident in yourself, you're happy to be single and have faith that you know your person is out there and you will find them at the right time. And that's what matters. You don't need to keep rushing the process. You don't need to keep forcing it. Have trust in yourself. And that is so important. Don't forget, out of all of this, the biggest thing you can take away is that your kids see you. If they see that you're not trusting in yourself, they'll take on these behaviors. If they see that you can't communicate in situations, then that's how they'll handle situations. If they see that you don't have much self-worth and you're very shy and insecure, they usually take on the same traits. Show your kids that you're a confident parent that they can look up to. Show your kids that it's okay to be single. It's okay to live life on your own. It's okay to feel empowered and enjoy your time whilst you're on your own. And I love it, actually. I really do, because I'm seeing signs with my daughter, because obviously she's seen me be single for some time. And I don't know if I should mention this, but I will. We're out actually at, some of you who follow me on Instagram may have seen that I was at my daughter's netball gala day last week, or actually this week as I'm recording it. And there were some young kids there, and they were, year 6 kids, and they're trying to set up one of the girls and one of the boys. I'm like, oh my God, they're like 12-year-old kids. Really? I'm not ready for this. And my daughter and I was there with her, so she drove home with me in the car. She's like, Mum, that's so crazy. Why are they doing that for? And she's got zero interest in dating anyone. And I love that. Zero interest. And it's not like I'm stopping her. It's not like I'm telling her no. I've never, ever said that. I've never discouraged anything. But I love that because she's seen how empowered I am and how confident I am in myself, that she knows you don't have to be dependent on another person. You don't have to rush into a relationship, even when you're young, to show your worth. And she's even said that to me so many times, Mum, I don't want to rush into anything like that. I want to enjoy my time with my friends. When I leave school, I want to travel with my friends. I'm like, I love this. I love this. And that's great. And, just feeling empowered with where you're at, being happy with where you're at, it reflects on the kids. The kids see that and the kids feed off that energy. And I truly love that my daughter has seen how happy we are when it's just us two, how happy and empowered I am, how much I love my life. And the fact that it's just always been us two, that my life or our lives have never, ever been put on hold or nothing has ever stopped because I don't have a partner. Nothing about my life has changed because of the fact I don't have a partner. As I always say, I know I will find a partner. I know that perfect partner is out there for me. I know that for a fact. But I'm not sitting here every night looking on apps, forcing it to happen. I trust the universe, putting it out there, and I know it'll happen at the right time. And in the meantime, I am absolutely loving my life with my daughter and what we get up to and the things we do and the little road trips and everything else. And that's what's important. That's what the kids need to see. They don't need to see you constantly rushing into relationships and seeing mom or dad cry because they've been heartbroken again. They don't want to see that. And I see it a lot, people saying, oh, but the kids need to see you with a partner. The kids need to see two adults together. No, they don't necessarily need to see two adults together. They need to see mum and dad happy, not mum and dad keep going through different relationships just so they can have a partner where they keep ending getting heartbroken. So really, at the end of the day, everything we do, our kids see. Our kids watch us. Our kids learn from us. We are their role models. Be a good one for them. Be one that they can look up and go, fuck, I'm proud of you. Well, no, you don't want your kids to say that. But you get what I'm going with that. And that all comes down to you getting yourself in a better headspace. You just really... self-reflection is priceless. Looking after your mental and emotional health is priceless. And people often say, I don't have money for coaching, or I don't have money for therapy, or I don't have money for this. But it's not so much paying for that. It's a long-term permanent investment that will have an impact on your life forever. Oops, sorry everyone, I just dropped my bottle of water. It's not about just fixing your breakup with your ex. It's about looking at ways that you can improve your confidence, which has an ongoing impact for the rest of your life. It looks at ways of how you can change and improve your dating habits. It looks at ways at how you handle and communicate in situations. It looks at ways of, are you taking things too personally? So coaching really is about, it's not about just fixing now. It's about giving you those tools that you can put into action now that really make a difference in how you handle your situations, in how you handle yourself. And that's what it comes down to. So when you're in these situations, like when you're being love bombed, you're like, no way. I'm not falling for your shit. I know what you're doing. I listened to that podcast. Nah, I'm not falling for your shit. You trust yourself. You are confident enough in yourself. And that's what it comes down to. Letting go of that hurt, letting go of that doubt, letting go of any of those negative emotions that you're holding on to. And you can move forward and feel fucking amazing in yourself. That's what it's about. So if you want to feel even more fucking amazing in yourself, then jump on and let's have a chat. If you don't like me swearing there, I promise I won't swear in our chat. Actually, I don't think I do. No, I don't swear in chats. I'm pretty good. Pretty G-rated in my chats. But anyway, if you do want to have one, then jump on. The free one-on-one link is in the show notes. Grab that. Let's have a chat and see if this is something that's suitable for you. And please, I get so many people that tell me I'm scared or I'm not sure if I'm ready. It is nothing to be scared of. And that is what the free chat is there for, to see if it is something that is suitable for you. There is no pressure. There is no need to feel scared. because there is no judgment. We all make decisions in life where we go, oh shit, I shouldn't have done that. There is no judgment on things that have happened in the past. There is no shaming. There is no criticizing. I don't mock. I don't make fun of anyone. It's like we look at where you're at and we find ways to make it better for you. There is no shaming. There is nothing to feel guilty of. And it's very common. And you men out there, I know you're out there, and I've had contact with quite a few of you, and you've all been hesitant to take it the next step because it's a shameful thing for men to ask for help. Men are considered the providers. Men are considered the ones who know how to do everything, know how to fix everything, know how to make it work. And they don't want to own up to the fact that they feel like they've failed their relationship or they've failed their marriage or they've failed their family. You guys haven't. None of you have. Even you women out there, no one has failed. Things happen in life. And sometimes it goes to the shit. But like I've said in previous episodes, we just teach our kids that we get back up and we keep going. That's what it's about. Don't feel like you've shamed yourself or you've shamed your kids or you failed or you've done something wrong. And don't feel like asking for help is something that you need to be embarrassed of. And mind you, even if you do, nobody's going to know about it. I don't tell anyone who I talk to. Nobody knows anything. It is completely confidential, just between me and you. Nobody's going to know anything. And the only person that will know is you. And maybe the people around you will know because they'll see how amazing you are and how much more positive you are. So anyway, I've gone on for a tangent from love bombing, but it all comes down to the same thing, and that is looking after you and getting you in a good headspace to avoid getting in these situations such as love bombing, and you don't get trapped into that vicious cycle where they suck you in, because nobody wants that shit. So I'm going to wrap it up. But as I always say, I really hope you got something from this. I love it when I get comments from people and say they've just listened and it's exactly where they're at. I get that quite often and I love it. I love seeing that. I'm like, thank you. This is why I'm so passionate about what I do. And I love it when it just resonates with you and just hits the sweet spot with what you're going through currently. So if you're listening to an episode and it's really resonated with you, then feel free to let me know. I love hearing from you guys and getting those messages. So thank you, everyone. And that's about it from me. Remember to share it with your single parent friends. And if you do want to chat, jump onto my DMs or jump onto the show notes below and get my details there. And until next week, guys, I'll be in your ears then. Thank you for joining us on the Life After Plus One podcast. If you loved what you heard today and looking for some further support, then jump onto our website, lifeafterplusone.com. Plus, don't forget to check out our Instagram page for further resources and inspo. You can find all the links in the show notes. And remember, you're not alone on this path. I'm looking forward to seeing you on the next episode. And in the meantime, keep thriving, keep growing, and keep exploring your amazing life after plus one.